Well, in this section, we shall be looking at the shenanigans going on between Cubana Chief Priest and Isaec Fayose, the younger brother of Ayo Fayose, the former governor of Ekiti State.
Immediately after Isaec Fayose came out to make this statement.
Thank God, say I no be Igbo by tribe. That tribe, they are so easy to buy. You just hold money and power. They will follow you like puppy dog.
So, Sir Isaac Fayose came out to boldly declare that the Igbos are complete sellout, my dear.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another update. Happy new week to every one of you. So guys, we're still dealing on the issue of Cubana Chief Priest. Una know say since Cubana Chief Priest joined this city boy movement, he never drink water put cup for ground. Now the video when be say Isaec Fayose, which is the younger brother to Ayo Fayose, came out and he said this, that Igbo people are easy to buy. That if you give them little money, they will disappoint or even betray their brother or their sister for that money. And that statement did not sit well with a lot of Igbos. Now, Cubana Chief Priest also replied, Isaec Fayose, and other people also have their own contribution. What they think about what Cubana Chief Priest said in return or in reply to Isaec Fayose, and what Isaec Fayose also said, that Igbo people are easy to buy, blah, 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 blah. Guys, make I leave the video one after the other. Make una see. And leave your comment for the comment section, because some people constantly talk and say, Cubana Chief Priest no do well for, as in replying Isaec Fayose in that manner. Say Cubana Chief Priest too small, he's too young to reply Isaec Fayose. Anyways, I don't want to say much. Let me leave the video one after the other. If you are yet to subscribe, you dey miss update, because here na the one and only Lady J Corner. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Alright guys, let's see the videos one after the other while you leave your comments in the comment section. I will be back.
Immediately after Isaec Fayose came out to make this statement.
Thank God, say I no be Igbo by tribe. That tribe, they are so easy to buy. You just hold money and power. They will follow you like puppy dog. You know, forgetting Nnamdi
A lot
for
of Igbos were
Choco.
not happy. Even Cubana Chief Priest replied him. And Isaec Fayose said that he's not withdrawing this statement anytime from this moment. And some Igbos were not happy up to now. Now, let's discuss about this. I would tell you for free that Isaec Fayose did not actually hate Igbos. According to him, he said he got married to an Igbo woman, which means some part of him is Igbo. But what made him to say this thing is because of the way Igbos behave. We have to tell ourselves truth. The law we have for money is what prevents us from not achieving our aim up to date. Are you telling me that if it is outside people that is agitating to have their freedom, do you think they will not achieve it? They will achieve it because they love each other. They don't love the money. They don't love money just the way Igbos love money. And that is the problem we're having today. Just see the way Obi Cubana migrate to APC. Chief Priest, the APC. And they have their brother fighting for president, being P2B, but they ignore him and then join the winning party. Are you telling me that Hausa man can do something like that? So if you are angry with Isaec Fayose, I want you to digest and then to see what is happening. I will tell you, even some Yoruba parts want Igbo to become the president of this country. But I will tell you that some parts of Igbo will not even support that person, that Igbo man that come out for president, because of the way we behave. We believe if this man occupy this position today, automatically is more than me. Igbos, I think we should go back and then to strategize and then to become one instead of having.
Well, in this section, we shall be looking at the shenanigans going on between Cubana Chief Priest and Isaec Fayose, the younger brother of Ayo Fayose, the former governor of Ekiti State. I don't need to begin to play all of the videos to you guys, once again, because I'm pretty sure you must have seen the video sections from from Isaec Fayose, and the responses from Cubana Chief Priest. The bottom line was that Isaec Fayose earlier made a video saying that the Igbos are greedy, that they are money-driven, and all of that. Many question the capacity, the validity of that very statement. Many criticize him that he shouldn't have said that he stereotyped and categorized the Igbos, while many across the Igbo extractions equally supported, what he postulated. So, but I will start by saying this. Over the years, from the time immemorial, both philosophers, psychologists, and even traditional religion experts have always argued that greed, or the desire to want more than we actually need, to desire more than we actually need, is a natural tendency in every human being. So, whether you are Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and all of that, greed is inherent in every human being across the entire planet. Otherwise, one may begin to ask, why is it that the northern part of Nigeria, their political leaders have held on power for many years, and yet the states in the northern part of Nigeria still remains the poverty capital of Nigeria? The same applies to the Yoruba extraction. Many of their leaders have held political powers in Nigeria more than people from the southeastern part of Nigeria. Yet, it hasn't also transformed the region to be, heavily financially independent. And yet, the leaders continue to want more. They continue to want more power. They continue to hold on to political power, just like the people from the Hausa extraction. So, it's justified that greed or desire to wanting more is a natural tendency in every human being. I will justify this by referencing what happened about 10 years ago in Germany. There was this, I will not go into details because I don't want this video to stereotype anybody. There was this Yoruba guy I met, he was studying in a different city, and he was having problems with his status. So I met him at a workplace, and he explained his dilemma to me and the desire to come to my city. I helped him without, thinking twice. I linked him up with some of the immigration officers. I gave him email address precisely, peculiarly. I said, write to these persons and you will get a stay in my city. He did that and he got the stay. Fast forward, sometime later on, he called me. He said he needed some money to use as an evidence in order to extend his stay, his status and all of that. He needs to have some bulk amount of money in his account. And I gave him, I think, about 3,500 euros then. Then later on, something happened, which I don't want to get into details. I was heavily disappointed. Yes, I was heavily disappointed. I was like, this is a Nigerian. I didn't even want to call him a Yoruba boy at that instant. This is a Nigerian that I helped, and this is what I'm getting back in return. Some persons I shared the story with were like, Yoruba people, they are very deceptive. Yoruba people, they are not trustworthy, they are not reliable and all of that. I listened to all of those, side statements, but I didn't take it to heart because I still have Yoruba friends up to today that are also very reliable. So why do I say this? To justify what I said earlier, that greed and the desire for wanting more is a natural tendency in every human being. Just probably, Isaec Fayose may have, at least be a little economical in that very statement. But I can tell you, I look at antecedent. If you look at why the reasons, referencing the law of cause and effect, why Isaec Fayose made that very statement. That statement is born out of a place of anger. And what is the reason for that anger? Isaec Fayose has many times talked about Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his strategy in winning elections and all of that. But yet, he still stick his stake to stay with P2B, supporting what he considers to be legitimate against all odds, even though he's a Yoruba man. But he decided to stay with P2B. Now, seeing P2B's brothers desert him, on a platter of yam porridge, he was pained. You know what I mean? So he couldn't hold his anger in making that very statement. He didn't want to directly, send that very statement to Cubana Chief Priest, to Obi Cubana, who have joined the City Boy movement. And he decided to, color the entire Igbos by making that very statement. So if you begin to look at the inherent reasons in that very statement, he may not have totally, intended to stereotype the entire Igbos, but those who are being looked up to, the Igbos in their wisdom, the late Osadebe will always say that when you are being looked up to in the society, you should definitely be very careful, because your actions and inactions will go a long way towards bringing a whole lot of multipliers effect. So having established that, I want to say this categorically. What prompted me to begin to dive into this matter, I saw another video clip trending where Zenko and some other, billionaires across the southeastern part of Nigeria donated, brand new buses to the City Boy movement. So after watching that very video, I was concerned. According to Cubana Chief Priest, he said the reason he wants to work against P2B, which was a very careless statement. He shouldn't have made that very statement that he wants to work against P2B. P2B is not the only person contesting, declaring interest to contest for presidency come 2027. Rotimi Amechi is there, Rufai is there, Atiku is there. What will have been the best, statement it should have been, I am ready to work against the opposition, working with Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but sounding it, hitting that very nail on the head against P2B, goes further to look like it's a gang up, which is what we are seeing here and what we have seen over time, that P2B is being heavily, harassed, bullied, just the same way Reno Mokri is focusing on P2B without even recognizing that P2B is not the only one running for election. And if you look at it critically, it justifies the same pattern of, narrative we've had over time, that it is simply because he's an Igbo man. And in this contest, an Igbo man working against an Igbo man. So having seen that very video, I cried deeply in my heart, because I begin to wonder, what type of businessmen are these Igbo men? Do they actually know what being a businessman, what it's all about? Why is it hard that some of us, or some of them, don't actually learn the required lesson? Look at what is happening globally and borrow a leaf from successful businessmen and women who have built, wealth, generational wealth over time. Now, Obi Cubana said he wants to work with Tinubu because he wants to get the power to release Nnamdi Kanu. I want to re-echo it again. I said it in my previous video, that both Obi Cubana, Cubana Chief Priest, and all of them put together, they do not have the power to release Nnamdi Kanu from detention. Yes, the people that had that power are the southeastern governors and the senators. These are the people that have the capacity to trade Nnamdi Kanu's release on a platform of politics. Now, that does not mean that these billionaires does not have any power. They have their inherent power by the virtue of their position in the society. But by aligning with Sheyi Tinubu, not even with Mr. President, they have given that power, the little power they possess, they have handed it over to APC government. They have handed it over to Sheyi Tinubu and Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu free of charge. What would have been the best steps for this very man? $1. What would have been the best? What would have been the best? What would have been the best for this very what would have been the best for this very man? What would have been the best for this very man is to stand their ground wherever they are. And they will come and meet you. And then you declare your position that I'm a businessman. I wouldn't want to get into the spotlight. If you want to support Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can support him. You can donate buses to their whatever. You can donate buses to B2B and all of that. And you will still maintain your steez, maintain your position, and also protect your business. Why am I saying this? And by doing so, you preserve the power that you still possess, because they will be fearful of what you can do. But now that you have aligned publicly, you have compromised your power because you will lose public trust. You will lose partners. Your position currently with APC will alienate some of your customers and partners and so many other business engagement, especially from people that disagrees with your position. Now, that takes me into what I call short-term politics and long-term business thinking. Successful business leaders focuses on long-term horizons, on how to expand their businesses and build generational wealth. While politics is often governed by election cycles and public pressure. This was a singular reason Isaac Fayose made a comment. He said, Aso Rock is a barrack. Soldier come, soldier go. Barrack remains the same. You can never tell who becomes the next president of Nigeria, even with all the alignment we have seen so far, that many of you are confidently saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win the election. That has always been the planning of man and convictions of man. However, you cannot in clarity tell whether Tinubu will be there 2027 or whether somebody else will be there. What if another person wins the election? It falls back again to what I said. Politics is governed by election cycles and public pressure. Then all the alignment would have been in vain. So, and at this point that you have aligned completely with APC government publicly, you have compromised your business. For any reason you want to pull out now publicly, you will face more scrutiny from the government of the day. They'll begin to check their policies, touchlight your businesses for compliances and so many other things, which will put you at risk. And if at the end of the day also the odds are not in your favor, how then do you maintain your public status as a businessman that ventured into politics? Have you ever seen Alhaji Dangote come out to tell you publicly that he's supporting Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Alhaji Dangote will always talk about the progress he's making in his business with respect to Bola Tinubu's policies. Have you ever seen Otedola come out to tell you, jump around and jump into cars, jump into city boy movement buses and all of that? Have you seen the Okowas? Have you seen the Alakejas jumping into buses, causing all of these shenanigans on the internet space? I felt really, sad seeing Obi Cubana Chief Priest replying Isaac Fayose in this fashion. Education is not a scam and wisdom is profitable to direct. If you understand that politics works on election cycles and public pressure, he should have maintained his steez. From the first principle, they shouldn't have for any reason got into the van where they got themselves into now and publicly declaring alignment with the government of the day, which I understand. We live in a country where rascality thrives. It is only in Africa that, as a businessman, in most cases, when you don't support, in fact, only in Nigeria, that when you don't support the ruling party, a particular politician, they begin to come after you. In America, there are billionaires. Many of them are Democrats. Many of them are Republican. Nobody is attacking their businesses. Somebody like Elon Musk, for example, who decided to take a stand with Donald J. Trump, is a very successful businessman, a billionaire, the richest man in planet Earth today. Now, he did that because he saw a reason and he was ready to take all the risk necessary that if Donald Trump loses the election, this may be the consequences. But he's never going to be as poor as Obi Cubana or Cubana Chief Priest. That is a fact that is established. And by virtue of the fact that America is a democratically governed nation, nothing serious or nothing of concern will happen to their businesses because they are promoting American-made products. So the government will even love them more. And more so, like I said in my previous video, I am not personally totally surprised by the actions of Cubana Chief Priest, Obi Cubana, and many of them that are currently lining up. An Igbo man, from the political point of view, is always seeking alignment to the center. He's always ready to serve a Fulani man, an Hausa man, a Yoruba man, because they want to get political validation. They will always be ready to abandon their own at every instance in order to seek political validation. in order to seek political offices purely for their own personal interest, purely for their own personal gain. If you claim that you are joining progressive government of APC, we should have seen what the progressiveness of you joining them, those who are already there, the Southeastern governors, the senators, the ministers, we should have seen by now the resultant effect of their own long-term alignment. And that should have manifested through the release of Nnamdi Kanu, just like Isaec Fayose cited. Igboho may not have, been tagged to the level where Nnamdi Kanu was tagged, but both of them were once separatists. Igboho was fighting for the Yoruba nation. Nnamdi Kanu was fighting for Biafra. How come Igboho has suddenly been exonerated of all his sins and offenses, yet Nnamdi Kanu is still languishing in Sokoto prison? So it means that the politicians we look up to from the southeastern part of Nigeria, the governors, the ministers, the senators, it means that all the alignments they have been doing all of these years is for their own personal selfish interest, and that they intentionally left Nnamdi Kanu over there to languish in prison. And that is why, if you take account of how many of them that have paid a visit to him today, I didn't see anything. If you have watched the previous videos I made it very clear. I said, how many of our traditional rulers are speaking out? How many of our traditional rulers are forming alignment with the governors, the leaders, the political leaders in the southeastern part of Nigeria to push? Because whether you like it or not, when you beat a child with the right hand, you draw the child closer with the left hand. That is what it means to be a father. That is what it means to be a leader. Take a leaf from Alex Oti. Take a leaf from Abaribe. Now, why am I saying this? The position they have taken today, both Cubana Chief Priest or Big Cubana, is a very delicate decision they have made. And it is also very deceptive to say that you are joining APC because you want to release Nnamdi Kanu. That is crazy of an excuse. Like I said, you do not have the power to release Nnamdi Kanu. You have the power to lend your voice. The little power you used to have before now, you have traded it. You have ceded that power to APC government. As it is now, you are powerless. The people that had the onus to release Nnamdi Kanu on a platter of political compromises and all of that are the governors from the southeastern part of Nigeria, as well as the senators. These are the people that have what it takes. But unfortunately, it's only Abaribe and then few others are the people speaking out for Nnamdi Kanu. And that is why it seems like a future impossible tense, except if that will later happen, like I postulated in my earlier videos. But I don't see it happening before the election. If it happens, it becomes a miracle, just to make it look as if that them joining APC is the reason why they are releasing Nnamdi Kanu. But I can categorically tell you that many of you businessmen and women who are joining the alliance, the APC government of the day, the city boy movement, is a grave mistake. I must be very, very honest with you. Even though, like I said, we live in a nation where rascality thrives, so everybody, is having currently that very survival instinct, which metamorphosizes into wanting more, the desire for more. So it is not entirely about Nnamdi Kanu release. It's about personal interest. It's about what to gain through the government of Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's about getting validation. It's about securing whatever they think they value, or maybe any illegitimate, acquired wealth that they want to protect through the illegitimate government of APC, because we understand it all. We know what is going on in Nigeria. You know what I mean? So having established that, I'll be concluding this section by saying that it is not only the Igbos that are greedy. Every human being is greedy, whether you are Yoruba, Hausa, Bini, whatever you are, wherever you find yourself. Greed is a natural tendency in every human being. And I can tell you this for free by quoting some of the, psychologists and philosophers, point of view to that. The desires in life tends to expand when fulfilled. And once our basic needs in life are met, wants and desire often grows rather than stopping. And that is why The scripture has recorded it, very carefully in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 10, that whoever loves money never has enough. And whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. You know what I mean? So, my dear elder brother, Isaac Fayose, I understand your place of narrative, your place of statement. It is born out of anger, for the singular reason that many of us are lending our voice to see a more united, beautiful Nigeria, through one man whom we believe he has the track record, the capacity to turn things around in Nigeria. Because the problem we have in Nigeria is criminality. So we are looking for that person who will come and, change the status quo, so that subsequent leaders will start on a purity of a foundation where Nigerians can actually enjoy the dividends of democracy without any recourse to sycophancy and favoritism. So ultimately, I will be advising, especially the younger people that are growing up, while making some certain comment and statement, we must learn also to be economical with our statement, to avoid, heavily stereotyping a particular people, to avoid polarizing the polity, causing ethnic divisions and all of that. Because whether you like it or not, Nigeria is already heavily polarized. And we appreciate and admonish every one of us to come up with a more uniting statement than a more, divisive statement, so that we all can actually live at peace. But that does not mean that the actions of Obi Cubana, Cubana Chief Priest, and many of the Igbos billionaires that are currently making alignment, their actions, their decisions so far are condemnable. The right thing would have been support that your own, support that your candidate, support that Mr. P2B. Whether he wins or does not win, you will satisfy a conscience on a platform of purity, on a platform of justice, on a platform of fairness. But instead, they decided otherwise for their own personal gain. So if anybody is telling you that it's because of Mazen Nnamdi, it's a lie from the pit of hell. I can tell you this, even when you wake me up very early in the morning. At this point, I will allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comments.
Alright, thank you very much for watching the video with me. Guys, this video not long enough already. If I have more updates, I'll still bring it to you guys. But for now, have a wonderful day and remember to subscribe, share, and like this video. I'll see you in my next post. Bye-bye.